That's
feed
okay.
again.
There's nothing we can do about that because this is set up to broad.
Are you going to mute or should I?
Turn off that microphone.
All right, how about now? Oh God, there's a feedback now.
Try it now.
We can hear both of you.
Good, Matt.
There is some feedback.
I know. How about now? I think
We
Phil-
can hear you.
All right, we're going to say that 3 times the charm, and it is 12:03 with us messing around. So welcome to Rotary. And if we could all please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Bruce, would you like to do the four-way test, three-way test, whatever test it is?
Did we lose one?
I find it. I got it. I found it. Almost got away. Fast little critter, I'll tell you. The Rotary 4-way test. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all fucking sides? That is the 4-way Rotary test.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Appreciate it. Faith, could we call on you to do the prayer invocation today? Our gentleman that usually does it for us is sick, and we're hoping that you can help us out today.
Sure. Let us pray. Almighty God, on this spring morning, we thank you for the chance to get together, at least electronically, to talk about what's going on in our community and with the children who are under our care. We ask that you would bless this meeting time together, and we intercede for those who couldn't make it, maybe because of COVID or some other reason. We especially intercede this day, God, for the people of India who are struggling with a terrible surge. We pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay, so I guess since we are here at City Hall, I would also ask you to mute your phone and not yourself today, okay? But you on Zoom, please mute yourself. All right, so welcome. We have a wonderful speaker today. I would like to turn it over to Bill to introduce her.
Yes, and I'd like to introduce my good friend, the Reverend Faith Fowler of the Cass Community Social Services and Cass Methodist Church of Detroit. And since this is Maternal and Child Month, she's been such a great lady, handling so much with the homeless families in Detroit, trying to get them back into housing. She also works a lot in ministry with those who have been let loose by the psychiatric system just to wander in Detroit, and she's gotten them off the streets, and also does some wonderful things with tires. So I'll let her tell you a little bit more about that stuff. Faith, go ahead.
Thank you very, very much. What an honor to be with you. I can't help ever visiting or meeting with people from Trenton without lifting up the name of Kyle Stack, who was so good to us for years and years. And I know that you probably miss her as much, even more than I do. But what a great lady and what a great leader for your community. So in case you haven't been subject to me talking to you before, I should tell you that Cass does 4 things and only 4 because I'm not very complicated as a human being. We do food, housing, healthcare, and jobs. We make and serve 700,000 meals a year. We house 300 homeless men, women, and children experiencing homelessness a night, as well as doing some outreach ministries. We offer 2 free medical clinics and a day program for 130 developmentally disabled adults. And we started during the last recession, 2007, 2008, to begin to offer jobs by recycling things like tires. And currently have 80 people working in what we call green industries, recycling tires, glass, cardboard, paper, wood, and doing some work in solar as well. So that's what we do. I was asked to focus on children to tie in with your theme, and so I'll do that. Although at the end, if you have questions about anything else we do, I'd be glad to try and answer. probably the best way, you know, my backdrop is a picture of the homeless people standing at the church door when I first arrived at Cass in 1994. They would come for breakfast before the sun was up, and most of them were men, grown-ups, all of them, but you know, 97, 98, 99% of the homeless people we were dealing with initially were men. That has changed over the years. We're seeing more and more children coming in with families, not teenagers who've run away, but children, even brand new babies. I got a call a couple of years ago from a Wayne State student who was working the overnight shift at our warming center. And she said, Reverend Fowler, so-and-so is having a baby. What should I do? And I said, catch, because I've never delivered a baby, and I knew that you wouldn't want the baby to land on the floor, right? And she did. Eventually 911 did arrive and cut the cord and took mother and child to the hospital. But when you think of homeless, you really never think of a brand new baby. And yet we've had them born at Cass more than that once. Actually, we had a woman, I think the thing that really scarred it into my memory most was early on, a woman came to our warming center. And the warming center is just a program when all the shelters are full, but the weather outside is too darn cold for people to live in their cars or vacant buildings or under bridges. So the city, our city, opens it up in the coldest months so that people don't freeze. It's that simple. And a woman arrived one morning from Receiving Hospital, which at that point was, maybe 8 blocks from the church, which is where we were at that time, with her baby in like a Office Depot box. And I thought to myself, what chance does this kid have, you know? I mean, so often as a woman anyway, we get invited to baby showers, and those children on the way get everything, you know, walkers, strollers, playpens, cribs, bibs, clothes, sucky things. I mean, just everything you can imagine a brand new baby gets. And here this one comes in what you'd put the paperwork from your office in. And it just jarred me. And over time, the number has grown. So of the 300 people we house a night, not in the tiny homes, but in our programs, a half of them are in what we call permanent supportive housing, meaning you can stay indefinitely, but you're surrounded with wraparound services so that you might make it, even if you are mentally ill, or if you are dealing with addiction, or if you are fill in the blank. The other half, the other 150 are in our emergency program. So our family shelter for 50, our rotating shelter for 54, our warming center for 50. And of that 150, 35 to 45 on any given night can be kids from newborn to 18 years old. And sometimes the families are just a mom and a baby, and sometimes they're a mom and 7 kids, especially if it's a case of domestic violence. You're trying to keep your family safe and you're on the run. So a large number of children each night. And it was hard before COVID. And it was hard because of all those 150 people, they were in 3 rooms. So basically 50 people in a room. A rotation is at Cass anytime it doesn't have somewhere else to go. And so, you know, try getting your kids to sleep, especially if you have little kids and you're in a room with maybe people who talk to themselves, maybe somebody who's experiencing the side effects from drug addiction. Maybe somebody doesn't want to turn off the TV. Maybe somebody's fighting. Try and get your kids to sleep in a room full of strangers that you can't control. By the way, the fire marshal requires that we keep lights on at night. So get to sleep with lights on. Get to sleep where it's loud. So all kinds of things are complicated by a congregate setting. But once COVID came, boy, Well, first of all, you know this, we couldn't get PPE anywhere. We couldn't get the equipment. We had staff quitting, and yet we couldn't close down, right? We couldn't give people the space to distance. We had them sleep head to foot, head to foot, head to foot. That's the best we could do. Then, of course, they closed the schools. So that meant no lunches for kids, but even more important, I mean, we could come up with the food and people were very generous to us, but we didn't have computers and we didn't have Wi-Fi. And so now you got 40, 50 kids with no way to link in to their classes. At first we thought just for a couple weeks, but then a year. So it became very, very difficult. And of course, kids have a lot of energy, right? To be cooped up in a big congregate room with a bunch of strangers. We were so happy to have the spring come so we could actually get them outside into a small park that we operate. But it's been a very, very difficult year for the students. And I think, you know, we put in a small computer lab. Ultimately, we've got a new Wi-Fi setup going into the new setting. So we did an online fundraiser in December explaining the predicament to people, and they came through in, I mean, the one thing you can say about metropolitan Detroiters is they're generous. And we were able to raise enough money to buy an old convent that's about 4 blocks from the building we're in. It needs a lot of repairs. And by the way, all the nuns were women, so we're having to add boy bathrooms and boy showers and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, by the end of this year, I suspect, thanks to an army, a cavalry of volunteers, we'll have a new facility where every family will have their own bedroom. They won't have their own private bathroom, and they'll still share the dining room. But at night, when you're trying to get your kids to sleep, every family will have their own bedroom. And that has us really excited, not only from the sleeping, parenting, who wants to parent 24/7 in public, but also from the safety if you need to quarantine. So 2 weeks ago, I had 10 staff off with COVID or quarantining, at least 2 of them in the hospital. So, you know, they had COVID, and 4 families come down with it. Not every member in the family, but every family with at least one, many with more than one COVID. It's surging like crazy. The variants are alive and well in the city of Detroit. And so we continue to try and keep people safe and people on par with their classmates in terms of schooling. You know, it's the little things that we can offer. It's the birthday party in the shelter, right? It's the trick-or-treating at Halloween. It's the stocking on Christmas Eve. It's the little things that make it semi-normal for the children who, you know, I envision them as having post-traumatic stress syndrome. I mean, the kind of crisis they're in because their whole family and their parent is in, because although we have a couple fathers with kids too, they're just worried about how to survive, how to find a job, how to acquire some money, how to get an apartment, how to manage transportation. They don't have the emotional resources to deal with the stresses of a child or 7, right? So disregard the picture behind me. Imagine each of those people is under 18 and dealing with homelessness right now. I think COVID has taught us how to try and do things better and to treat people better and to make sure that we don't leave anybody behind. I know this isn't just particular to Detroit, that it's countrywide and statewide. I know our community is not the only one struggling with internet access for sure. But that's what we've been up to. I should say, our medical clinics have been able to offer testing since last year, about April. So we've offered testing every week. We have been able to offer the vaccine since January, 5 different times, twice for each of the 5, the Minerva vaccine. I would tell you that not everybody is willing to take it. And we have not forced anyone to take it on staff in particular. And there are lots of reasons for that. I'm sure you've read and know that some people just don't like vaccines in general. Some people object because of the history we've done of experimenting on African-American folks. Some people claim there's been a rush to get the vaccine out there. Some people now are scared because of the Johnson & Johnson pause. It doesn't matter. About a third of our staff and probably around the same number of our residents have had it. We have not had anyone die from CAS, but we've had plenty go into the hospital, and we've had plenty of relatives die, so that early on we understood not being able to go to the hospital, not being able to have a funeral. It didn't matter if it was your mother or your spouse or your son. And how very hard emotionally that was on our staff, and how much I appreciated our staff keep coming back in to provide services, because you just can't shut down. What do you say to people? You can't eat for the next year. You can't sleep inside for the next year. For a while, our outreach team that goes out into the streets and tries to encourage people to come in, they were, every time they picked up somebody new, and they go out 7 nights a week, they had to drive them socially distanced within the van all the way out to Pontiac, because that's the only place we could get a rapid test. And I didn't want to bring somebody into the shelter unless I knew they were negative. And so all their time for months was spent that way, until Albion College allowed us to go in with a big bulk order they had for rapid tests. And for about the last month and a half, maybe 2, we've been able to rapid test here, which has allowed us to be much more effective on the streets of Detroit with people who are still experiencing homelessness. So that's what we do: food, housing, healthcare, and jobs. Some of the housing is for children. They're in our emergency programs, which generally are 90 days. But since last March, they've been unlimited. And of course, we, like everybody else, have had the eviction moratorium even on our regular permanent supportive housing, which has led to some issues as people have struggled with mental illness, and in some case violence that we've never experienced before, which has just made it a hard season. I don't think we're alone in saying that or knowing that. It's also been a wonderful season to know how we've been connected. I can't tell you how many people have sent us all or a part of their stimulus check saying, you know, I really don't need it. Maybe I can help somebody out. Little kids have done fundraisers. We had somebody show up, 2 little girls show up Saturday with money they had raised for balls and outside play equipment for the homeless children to get out now that the weather's getting nice. So those sorts of things have just warmed our hearts in ways I can't even describe. So I've talked a long time. I don't know if you want me to tell a story, if you want to ask a question, or I've put you to sleep right after lunch.
Reverend Faith, is there anybody out there who would like to ask her a question about what she's doing? If you're in the room, you can use the mic there or the mic up at the podium if you would like to ask a question. And anybody on Zoom want to ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Go ahead, Noel.
Yeah. First of all, Faith, thank you for everything you do and this amazing message that you're bringing to us. One question I have is, you know, you talked a lot about COVID, but COVID has, you know, other effects to it, which I'm sure you're aware of. So, and it's kind of amplified the the opioid addiction crisis. And do you have any stories about how that has impacted you?
Yes, thank you, Doctor. as I mentioned, within our residential programs, we've had people who haven't been seeing mental health professionals the way they were prior. So struggling with schizophrenia, bipolar disease, among others. One day, one tenant got mad at another and tased her right in the hallway. Another person got mad at something that happened in the shelter and pulled out a gun. You know, giving up drugs is hard enough, is very, very difficult for people, especially after decades of abuse, right? Getting them to give it up right now is difficult. We have had a couple overdoses. Our staff are trained in how to give the shot if we suspect somebody has overdosed. But yeah, it's just, you know, people are isolated, people are depressed, people are self-medicating. Staff are depressed too. We've given some small bonuses. We don't pay lush salaries. We're working hard to make sure they increase every year, but you know, we try and encourage. We took the management, middle level staff out. I said, let's do something fun just to unwind for a day. You know what they wanted to do? That we went to this place, I'd never heard of it before. You axe throw. So I didn't participate. I didn't want to be anywhere near the the target. They loved it. Next week we're going to go bowling. So we're trying to do things to help burn off steam for the people who are just working in inordinate numbers of overtime hours and dealing with folks who are in more than crisis mode. So yes, drug addiction has been an issue.
Matt, did I see your hand? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Faith. First, God bless you for what you do. It's just incredible what a small group of volunteers like yourself can accomplish for those that need it. I was really intrigued by your comment early on about the jobs, especially in the, I guess I'll call it the recycling area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know giving someone a job empowers them to be their own person. So that I think is a great thing in and of itself. I'm just curious, what do you do as far as recycling is concerned? Because I thought it had to be some technical company that, you know, did all these weird things with it. What is it you do as far as like the recycling type stuff?
Thank you, Matt, so much. First of all, let me say that I do very little of the hands-on work here. I talk a lot. The staff does the heavy lifting, and we're used to volunteers. We normally have over 7,000 volunteers in a year. And last year, starting in mid-March, we had like 100. So for the whole rest of the year, because people were afraid to come, we were afraid to have them come. And so even cutting the grass last year was a bit of a Herculean task, right? But in terms of recycling, it's a great interest to me, the environment, in terms of doing things that are actually good for the planet. Beyond that, in 2007, what was clear is our people couldn't get jobs anymore. Prior to that, they could pick up day labor, they could do handbills, you know, that kind of thing. So they'd have a little bit of money and a little bit of dignity. Many of them hadn't had work reference for a decade. Some of them had been incarcerated and nobody wanted to hire them. And so everybody was asking for a job. And I read a newspaper article about a Native American tribe in Oklahoma that were using tires to make mats. We call them mud mats. And I called them up, and now you're going to find out I have a very sick sense of humor. And I said to the Native American who answered the phone, look, we stole your land, and now I'd like to steal your idea. And fortunately, he laughed. And I'm a big believer in confession right up front. And he shared with me everything they needed and used to make mats out of tires. And tires, you may or may not know, illegally dumped tires is a huge problem in Detroit. So we began picking up illegally dumped tires. We've now picked up over 100,000 of them at no cost to the city. and converted them into mud mats and sold them, $25, $35, $45 a pop. And they've gone all over the country. And originally it employed 12 men part-time at slightly more than minimum wage. Then the developmentally disabled began asking if I could come up with a job for them, that they too wanted to make money. And I couldn't, because most of them couldn't read. And I just couldn't seem to think of anything that they could do that I could charge for to pay them. And then it dawned on me, I was looking at it the wrong way, that if we saw their illiteracy as an asset instead of a liability, perhaps we could create some jobs. And we started a shredding business, because I could say to doctors, lawyers, accountants, we can take your paper and carry it in a secure truck and put it in a building with alarms and buzzers and cameras and shred it. And I can guarantee you nobody's ever going to steal your information, because the people who are handling it can't read it, write it, remember it, or tell it. And so we started this itty bitty shredding business with really just my friends giving us their stuff, and little itty bitty Office Max shredders, you know, those zzz, zzz, zzz. 5 people, 2 took off the paper clips and 3 shred. And it took them like a year and a half to do a ton of paper, but we sold it out in Royal Oak to the recycling situation, and they were happy. So then we went to mid-size machines, and we were able to hire, you know, some more people, and they were able to go, zzz, zzz, zzz. I could do 1.5 tons of paper in about 1.5 months. So we increased quite a bit. And then there's this long story, forgive me. There was this competition online through Chase Bank back in the day when you didn't have to give money, you only had to vote. And so we and 11,000 other organizations applied for this competition, and we got all our friends. By that, people I knew in 2nd grade, people I knew in Girl Scouts, people I knew from college, people I knew who pastors, anybody we could to vote, 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 vote. 3 weeks of this. Do you remember me? I sat by you in science and Robinson Elementary. They didn't, but they voted. So then we were in the top 100. We got into the 2nd round. We had to do the same thing all again. So back to all that, we're in Starbucks accosting perfect strangers, you know, vote on the tablet, vote on your phone, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the 2nd round, we lost. And we felt like crap, because we wanted to use that money that was on the line to buy this big industrial shredder and baler where we could have hired a lot more people, but we lost. And we couldn't look at each other. We couldn't talk to each other. We were just dejected after we worked so hard for weeks. And then about 4 or 5 days later, I get this call, and this person from New York said, "Hi, Reverend Fowler, I'm calling from Chase Bank. You lost." I said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "I want you to know we've got an advisory committee." Now I'm thinking like Kim Kardashian, right? He said, and they voted for the best idea in the country, and you won. Wow. So we got $68,000 to buy all new industrial. So now we've got a shredder that can do a ton of paper every hour. And we can bale it, so we sell it directly to the paper mill in Wisconsin, because Michigan doesn't have a paper mill anymore. And we get double or triple the amount of money for the paper. So we've got 50 people, but they don't shred anymore. They stand along a conveyor belt. Remember the old Lucy and Ethel at the candy factory? That's sort of how it works. They stand along this belt and they pull out white paper from what we call colored paper, paper with blue or red or green dyes in it. You don't get as much money for that paper because you have to pull the dye out. But we're able to do, you know, 35, 40 tons a year and employ 50 people who can't read or write. And at that point, we kept it out of the incinerator, which was how we took care of paper in Detroit. And so that's what we do. We recycle things that other people think are garbage or in the waste stream. And then we added solar not too long ago. And then I'll throw in one more story if I can. We started doing solar and Maria hit Puerto Rico. And so I thought to myself, we should help. We know how to make a solar generator, and people there are without power. And by the way, if you're a diabetic, you need insulin, and insulin needs refrigeration. So I put a picture on my Facebook page and said, we know how to make these. Will you help me give a few bucks? Hitting up my friends. And I thought, well, if we could send 5, that'll help 5 families. They gave us enough for 50. But by the time we had raised the money, we had learned that everything that was going to Puerto Rico was sitting out in the water. It wasn't getting delivered to anybody. So we thought, well, we'll go down there and we'll install them. We bought 3 airline tickets. We're standing in Metropolitan Airport with all the stuff to assemble 50 solar generators. And one of the men is from green industry, tall, smart, handsome, poetic. You'd love him to be your husband or son or somewhere in your family. And I turned to him and I said, Mark, have you ever been to an island before? Now he's about 50 years old is my guess, a Detroiter. And he said, no. And I thought, oh my God, my dad was a teacher. I had been to both oceans by the time I was 10, you know, in the back of a station wagon. This is going to be an interesting trip for him. So we get on the flight and we end up in Atlanta because we had to get the flights last minute. And we didn't sit together because we got the flights last minute. And we get out of the plane in Atlanta and Mark comes running up to me, running. And he says, Reverend Fowler, I've been thinking about it. I have been to an island. I've been to Belle Isle. Yeah.
So Reverend Faith, let's end on that note. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you all the Rotarians who attended today and asked questions. The biggest way you can help her is either by buying product on her website for Cass Community Social Services. You can buy those mats, keychains, there's other stuff they make with those recycled tires. And also they have a soup day, usually in March, where you can go and attend and donate money to this cause and see Reverend Faith in action live. She's just an amazing person.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
real quick before Faith goes, we do these happy bucks, Kathy, and I'd like to pledge 100 happy bucks, and I'd like the club to put it on my account and then write a check to Faith. And I would challenge anyone else to also put forward a happy buck pledge for Faith.
Noel, I'm in there for another 100.
Oh my goodness. Thank you all very, very much for your time. I'm sorry I was long-winded. I'll get out of your hair. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, if you would like to do that $100 Happy Dollar challenge, feel free to just put that in the chat and we'll check it. So I know Bob Burns was here. He wanted to talk about the, I'm going to go back a little bit because we just wanted to talk about the cleanup real quick because that was a big thing that happened this weekend. And Noel, I believe, do you have any, Bob said you would have some numbers for us possibly from this weekend?
Well, numbers, well, I know I'm getting all kinds of pictures in my email from all kinds of different clubs that have done cleanups. I don't have numbers in terms of the amount of trash that they've collected. And I know Bob Burns is starting to get some of those numbers. I just know there was a lot of people out there, and those of you who were out there cleaning up, I know you got a lot of plastic bags, of plastic bottles, you know, all kinds of just kind of nasty stuff that messes up our environment. So I want to thank everybody who is participating. Thanks.
Thanks. Chris, did you have anything to say about that from this weekend? Nope. Okay.
Kathy, can I just add?
Yes, go ahead.
This is Valerie. Noel Jackson, Matt Hattie, Chris Sorensen, Kim Mott, Bob Burns, Val and Joe Zagalonis, and Ray Yee represented this wonderful event. Beautiful day. It was great to be outside. Birds were singing. There was a group from GM called GM Cares, and they actually came all the way from Warren and Sterling Heights to participate. They had 12 people strong. So once again, we had a great turnout from our Rotary members, and it was a interesting and beautiful day to make a difference in the Trenton community and to help the waterways.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So we will go into happy dollars. Is anyone happy today? see. Oh, yeah, Bob.
Yeah, I'm happy. I had a great weekend. Kids are in town and Barb and I celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary. And we thought it'd be a quiet dinner and it was nice, but then they got us all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna try and show you, but I'm not very good at this. Commemorative stuff and bulbs from Bronner's and cookies and candy, everything with our name, etc. And had some games. Noel would like that. He always likes games. We had different games we played about the year we got married, etc. So anyway, we had a super time and thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob. Congratulations. That's a long time.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, Bruce.
Yeah, my favorite daughter was in town from Chicago for a long weekend with her pooch, and it was a gas. We had so darn much fun. It was just a belly laugh a minute, stayed up late, slept in, had a great time. So that's my happy dollar. And also, if you want to put me on the $100 list like Dr. Knoll, absolutely do that for me, please.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
I think I saw Mao, his hand. Mao, go ahead.
Yes, yeah, last 10 days, we spent 10 days were in California, and Jen and I visited my son and daughter-in-law in San Francisco. Then we flew to Los Angeles to visit some other relatives, and we had a good time there, enjoyed the good weather. That's my happy dollar.
Awesome. Thank you, Mao. Great. Anybody else? Bill?
And I went traveling down to Miami Beach and I was trying to meet up with one of my former exchange students, but that didn't happen. But got to visit with the Miami Rotary Club, the big Miami Rotary Club, number 17. And a 79-member club, similar in size to ours, who's growing by 11 before the end of their Rotary year. So it's possible to grow clubs even in time of COVID. So please remember to ask someone to join Rotary.
Anyone in the audience happy today? Chris, do you still have that microphone?
I do.
Kim would like to say something. It's hard to tell if it's on or not, so.
There's a light on the side.
Hi. So my dad was diagnosed with cancer in November, and he's 85, and he came home from Bell Fountain yesterday, but he had a massive heart attack on February 13th, and they found him in his apartment. Went to the hospital, and they said he wasn't going to make it, but he's home, and he's doing well, and I just praise God he's strong and thriving, and he's cancer-free.
Oh,
They
wow.
did a scan and found he's cancer-free.
Thanks, Kim. Anybody else? All right, we're gonna. Oh, I'm sorry, Ray.
Hi, yeah, I was going to say that I'm happy for participating in the cleanup, the river cleanup day, Saturday. We had Kim in our group and Matt Hattie, and we also met up with this young lady from she worked at the Texas Roadhouse as a marketing person. So she says, oh, she says, you guys, need money and stuff like that, for prizes. So she volunteered, if we just contact her. And we also, we dug up this big tire that took like 4 people to move it out. Well, the unfortunate thing was, when we took it back to get weighed, they said they couldn't take it, But we also found a steel barrel, and we used to have like 5-6 bags of trash. So it was a lot of fun, really.
Awesome. Thank you for your participation in that. All right. Anybody else? Then we will move along.
Noel.
Oh, I'm sorry, Noel, go ahead.
Yeah, just one more. Seeing Ray Yee on the screen there reminds me of a thing that makes me happy. Ray Yee gave me a little bit of exposure a couple of weeks ago to his electric vehicle, a Bolt. And we had a vehicle coming off lease, and we ended up thinking about it. Now my wife is driving an all-electric car, a Chevy Bolt. And so Ray Yee and I are going to be exchanging gasless experiences. And I also might say, I asked the dealership, you know, what the scheduled maintenance would be. And like, there's no oil changes or anything. So the only scheduled maintenance is tire rotations. I thought that was pretty cool. So thanks, Ray.
Oh, you're welcome. Let me add to that. I think we both have the same color cars. So if we park next to each other, we're gonna have to, you know, have problems identifying which car is whose.
You know, life is interesting, Ray. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, so without anyone's other hand that I'm not seeing, I am going to, because I have to have eyes in the back of my head, obviously, these days. We are moving on to announcements. So the 601 group meets tonight at Sibley's. There's a limited amount of people that can come, and it's also on Zoom with the same Zoom information for tonight. We've got a fireside chat coming up April 27th. And our virtual district conference is May 4th and 5th. And I've been sending out the registration link. How many people have registered so far for that? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, good. Okay. Because our goal for District Governor Noel is 1,000 or more participants virtually. So whatever you can do to pass that along and pass that information to others, we're able to take folks that are not Rotarians this year. So it's really a great opportunity, I think, for a lot of folks to see what's going on. And you know, Noel's going to have a great show. I can't wait to see it. So did you have anything else to say about that, Noel?
Just to say, it's going to be a great show. You know, if you have any like friends or family that you'd like to invite, I think it would really, really give them some insight into some of the things that we do as Rotarians. And so really, some of the speakers that we're going to have are going to be out of this world. So, you know, not only sign up for yourself, but, you know, extend it to any of your friends, family, or neighbors.
Awesome. And then we've got May 8th and Shred Day between Ron Scheck and Larry Kearney. I know we've been getting some nice volunteers, so thank you so much for signing up for that, because that is also the same day that we will be doing another COVID clinic, and that following Monday as well. So thank you for everyone who has signed up so far and are considering signing up for that May 8th and May 10th COVID sign up, as well as the Shred Day on May 8th. So got a few things going on here in the club. There's also June 15th is the Peace Picnic, and that will be at the Taylor Conservatory, and that will be recognizing, we've got 12 here from our club that we hope to recognize. And I know there are plenty of Peace link chain members all over the District 6400 that will be recognized at that event. So hopefully you'll able to come. It's $20, and I do believe it includes some beverages and snacks. Yes, Noel?
Yeah, and my buddy from Launch Detroit, Levi Johnson's band, Pearl Handled Necktie, will be entertaining us that evening. So it's going to be a great time.
That in itself is worth the trip over there, that's for sure. Yes, Matt?
Regarding the district conference, does a person who's a non-Rotarian use the same link to register?
Yes.
Okay, and then we've got a couple of golf outings coming up, both on June 28th, from what I understand. Allen Park, Trenton golf outing, and also the district golf outing. So we've got that. We have the installation set at Chateau on the River for June 23rd. We hope to get those invitations out soon. And also the December 4th is Wild Game right now that we did confirm the Crystal Gardens. So we've got that going on. But I would like to, I'm not sure how to do this because we've got Mike McCullough and Bill Jasmine here, and we've got Noel on Zoom, and we would like to install our new member, Susan White, today. So maybe if I could have Bill and Mike come on up, or maybe just Bill, okay? Sorry, I don't know how we want to do this. So Noel, I'm gonna give you the floor, the floor to hopefully unmute.
All right. So, you know, Mike and I have done this before. So, you know, I'll just kind of open it up and transition it to Mike. But, you know, in Rotary, we have a vision statement, and it goes like this. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And this is the kind of organization that you're joining, and it's going to really open up some amazing opportunities for you. And I'm really excited and looking forward to all of the different opportunities that you're going to have getting involved in Rotary. We are bringing you into our Rotary Club because we consider you to be one of those people that contributes to the community and will contribute to make our club a better place. So Mike, if you will continue from there.
Yeah, and this is, can everybody hear me? Everybody. Okay, I think I'm on, and this is a very important day. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the most important part of this meeting, and Reverend Faith is fabulous. But having you here ready to join us is even better than that. And I'm going to tell you, we judge people by the strength of their character. That's what Rotary does, and that's what we've been doing. And I'm going to tell you, Susan, you're stepping up. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to be 6 feet away from her, but you're stepping up and being part of our COVID clinic. Speaks tons about you. We appreciate that. We don't have any secret handshakes. We don't have any funny hats. There's not a secret oath or anything. At least that I've been told. It may be down the line. I'm kidding. But we do require 3 things. Number 1 is that you attend. Number 2, pay your dues. And number 3 is enjoy Rotary. It's a simple process because we want you part of our group so that we can make a difference in tomorrow. We can make tomorrow better than today. And so I've seen it. I've seen you there.
Mike,
you had a great spirit.
They can't hear you.
You had a great spirit. It went off.
Oh, it went off.
Yeah, this
Sorry.
microphone tends to go off, so.
You want to try?
Okay, let's try it again. But anyways, you've shown that you stand up and want to make a difference, just like we all do. And so we're very, very proud of you. But I want to recognize somebody that's very, very important, almost as important as you. And that's Bill Jasmine. Bill, you went out and you asked somebody to join Rotary because you thought they'd fit in. You thought they could add value to our organization. And thank you for doing that. We're going to do this right now. We're going to have Bill pin Susan with her with a Rotary pin. This is a recognition that is recognized worldwide. And you are now part of Rotarians.
Sorry, it went out again.
You now part of it. This is great. I love doing a hype. Noah, you still there? You better ready to take over. But you are now part of.
I'm ready anytime, Mike. Go.
Over. Yeah, anytime. Wait a second. Wait for it. You're now part of a group of over 1.2 million Rotarians making a difference every day. And I'm going to throw it back to our district governor, who is from our club, and he'll do the close on this.
Okay, very good. So, Susan, from this point on, you are now a Rotarian. You are part of, as Mike was saying, 1.2 million members, 34,000 clubs in 200 countries. But not only that, it's going to connect your life it's going to connect your life to your community stronger. You're going to find that you're going to have more strong friendships, and it won't take away from your life. It's going to add to it. So with that, I would like to officially welcome you into the family of Rotary. Congratulations.
Susan, I would just like to add that with that pin, you are welcome at any Rotary Club around the world, as I have been welcomed at 46 clubs in 5 countries.
Awesome. Thank you. Mike, can you turn around and take a picture?
Sure.
And then those right there.
Let's move forward the screen a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. Smile and wave. Awesome. Congratulations, Susan. Welcome. So I just want to mention, we did get a thank you note this week from the Grosio Rotary Club. They like to thank us for our generous donation for FAN for $250. It was greatly appreciated. FAN is so near and dear to many of our hearts. Keep up the good work. Fondly, your Grosio friends at Grosio Rotary Club. So I just wanted to let you know we did get that. And of course, I just want a reminder for board members, please stay after the meeting. We do have a few pieces of business we need to vote on. I'd appreciate that, but we're going to get to my favorite part of the meeting. And today is featuring Jessica Bassner. Isn't she cute? Oh, she is a graduate of St. Mary's Catholic Central class of 2014. So she's a little bit younger than us. She opened Kevin James menswear in 2019 at the age of 23 with 6 years of menswear experience, which is fantastic. Kevin James was named after her father, Kevin James Bassner, who was also a 1985 graduate. He's more our age. But she is a self-taught seamstress, and she worked for JDRF, a juvenile diabetes nonprofit, for a year while still working in the menswear business. And Rotary is now the first to know publicly that Kevin James Tactical will be opening this summer, where there will be servicing their first responders and that service and protect all of us with their uniform needs. So congratulations, Jessica, that's awesome. And that's why obviously you joined Rotary, you're that kind of person, and we are so glad you're here with us. So congratulations to Jessica and the 601 group. They're doing some great things. And again, if you want to join them tonight at 601, feel free to do so. But otherwise than that, it is 12:55.
Kathy?
Yes.
Kathy, before you let them go, can I just make a quick plug for Woodhaven Brownstown Rotary? If anybody's feeling lucky out there, this Saturday is going to be the grand drawing for the Woodhaven Rotary, and they're in collaboration with, I think, 6 or 7 other clubs. For $20 a ticket, you have a chance at winning a 2021 Chevy Blazer, or it's going to turn to a 50-50 raffle. Second prize is 3 gift certificates to LP Tree. It's, I think, around $1,750 towards a bike or whatever. And then third prize is an entertainment packet. I know Ed's been out there. He was joining us briefly. He had to step away. But if anybody is interested, they do so much to support us. It would be great to purchase a ticket or a few tickets. You can go to woodbrown@hotmail.com, or you can reach out to Ed to get tickets to help that club. And it's their main fundraiser this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Val. So without any other information, anyone else want to say anything? Okay, have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay for a Rotary board. Board members, stay, please.